Can Cardano hit a $1 trillion market cap? Sounds absurd, right? That would put Cardano at $32 or $33. And perhaps you saw my videos on a $30 Cardano, but still you're in disbelief. Like, I love Cardano, but it can't happen. But can it? We're going to talk about that. Now, you probably all saw this, but I want to share it right off at the beginning anyway. Grayscale, digital large cap fund composition, they just added Cardano, and they are putting it with a composition of 4.26% of the portfolio. That is amazing. So great job. Put a W in the win column for Cardano again. They've had win after win after win, and I think there's a whole lot more wins coming. Now, I am going to get into the charts, but before I do, I want to share with you a story, because the right story gives context. And the right context helps you understand why I like Cardano so much. Also, context helps people recognize patterns. You see, patterns repeat. What's helped me do really well in crypto is important, and you doing really well in crypto is noticing the patterns. Now, that also applies to life, noticing patterns in life, not just crypto. But in crypto, that's what I've been so good at, is noticing patterns. These patterns help me make a lot of money. With that said, I have a story that relates, and I'll share with you. You'll probably catch why it relates. But years ago, I read a story or a book by Richard Marchenko, who was a Navy SEAL with the U.S. military, specifically SEAL Team 6. So the best of the best, the anti-terrorism unit. Now, Richard is gruff. He's tough. He actually got sent to prison for writing this book because they felt like he disclosed too much information, and he got a few years in prison. But in his book, he talks about how he always prefers to work with turtles rather than the gazelles. See, he explains gazelles have everything come to them too easy. Often the wind at their back, say they come from a rich family, say, you know, everything has been, they've had a golden spoon, everything has come easy to them. Oh, they're super good swimmers in Navy SEAL training, you know, and stuff. And he found most of those people washed out. He said, because everything has come easy to them, he said the first time they run into real difficult circumstances, they crumble and they fall apart because they've never learned to have to push through adversity. In contrast, turtles have had to fight for every step. They have to push through everything because nothing is easy. So more adversity just makes them push harder. See, I know many of you come from meager backgrounds, meaning you didn't have a lot of money, and you think that's a disadvantage. I say that's your advantage. I like the turtles. I like them because they don't give up, and they have a better chance of reaching what their goals are than anyone else. So how does this relate to Cardano? Well, I remember vividly early 2020. Tezos had seen some big pumps as one of the first projects to have staking come out. And I have no idea who it was within the Tezos community, but someone from that community with a big voice was fudding on Cardano and running victory laps around Cardano because Tezos had doubled Cardano's market cap. There were so many fudders fudding Cardano at the time that Charles had to start making names for those fudders. He called them Molten Tar Monster number 1, number 2, number 3, etc. Some of the FUD that you were hearing back then, oh, Cardano is vaporware. Cardano is 5 years into planning and development, still not close to smart contracts. Oh, Charles got kicked off the Ethereum team, so why would any other team want to work with him? Blah, 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 frickin' blah. So, it was a hard time, I imagine, for Charles and his team. It takes thick skin just to shake that kind of crap off. He had Ethereum maxis attacking him. He had Tezos people attacking him. He had Silicon Valley attacking him and his project, and nothing came easy. But Charles didn't slow down even one step. As I watched how he handled it, I just kept putting money in. Now, it's not that I dismiss FUD. Sometimes FUD is onto something, but I always listen to it. And guess what? Most of the time, the FUD is the vaporware. The FUD doesn't have substance to it. So often when things are getting incorrectly FUDded, that's when I'm buying, especially when I see it handled like Charles handled it. So yeah, let's get into the Cardano price at the time. Now, many of you look back and you're like, I would have been there. I would have bought Cardano. I love Cardano. I would have bought it at 2.5 cents. But would you have? Because at the time, it wasn't popular to like Cardano. At the time, you were told, oh, Tezos is where it's at. And all the people were jumping on the Tezos train, chasing green candles, which is what I talk about all the time. I don't chase green candles. I like red, lots of red, on projects that I think have serious potential. And to me, the story of Cardano always made sense. So look at where Cardano is now. Yeah, a little bit different story. In fact, let's just hit. Yeah, all right here. Doing tremendous, right? And it even hit 250. Do you realize that's 100x from 2.5 cents? We're a few months away now from smart contracts. In the past few months, though, my contacts behind the scenes have been growing. Thanks to all of you, and I do like networking, so the channel put me in touch with some people that then put me in touch with more people, and I appreciate that. And that's given me better information to share things with you. Now, I hear things that I can share directly with you, some things that I can only share indirectly with you. And so, you know, some of the stuff is covered by non-disclosures and everything, but just know that behind the scenes, there is a lot of attention being directed at bridging to Cardano or in some way connecting to Cardano. And my guess is that as we get close to smart contracts being live, some of those announcements will be made. Now, why so much attention being focused at Cardano? Because Charles's vision was correct with how to set up an ecosystem right, and people are realizing that. So where do we go from here? Now, whenever I'm analyzing things, I do like to analyze Bitcoin's price because things do relate. And you can see my drawings as I was kind of looking at what might happen from here. Now, it did seem that Bitcoin was forming a head and shoulders pattern. So shoulder here, head, shoulder. But notice how this one is a lot longer than this one. But do note it could drop down, and its next resistance level would be 23,000, which isn't very strong. With you look at how much resistance there was here, the next major support is right below 20,000, and that is a possibility. But it's looking like less of a possibility. So a couple things could happen. It could break down over the weekend, and who knows, might drop to these kind of numbers, or it could fake out. Especially if they see a whole bunch of shorts coming in. Oftentimes, that gives whales the incentive to liquidate those shorts and make a positive upside on that. So we'll see how that plays out. So how can Cardano do in that environment? Well, often when things drop drastically like this, that affects all the altcoins. Could bring Cardano's price back to a really attractive dollar. Who knows? Maybe even below, should we be so lucky. Now, how do I think Cardano is ever going to get to over a $30 token price? Well, let's look at what it has done already. See, back when I was covering Cardano way back in early this year, and I said Cardano's going to hit $30, guess what people told me? It will never even hit $2 or $3. Well, guess what it's done since then? Let's look back. And let me just share with you, you probably know this, but how this works. This is a Fibonacci extension. In fact, let me just get rid of it together, and I'm going to show you. You go over here on TradingView and you get a Fibonacci retracement. So let's start it at the bottom where it hit here. So it hit up in July, these numbers, and this extension tells you where your take profit 1 and take profit 2 zones are. At least that's how I use it. Now, I was buying and holding Cardano for the long term, and it had hit close to 16 cents and then retraced all the way down to about 8 cents. And so I was buying more as it was retracing. But I wasn't going to sell and take my profits here and here, right? But this suggested, okay, if I was going to do that, take profit zone 1 would be 30 cents. Take profit zone 2 would be 36 cents. Actually, take profit zone 1, 31 cents, take profit 2 at 36 cents, and then take profit 3 at 62 cents. But then let's draw what happened here. So up to $2.50. Okay, so this, if you're buying on the retracements here, and it retraced nicely down to just under $1, and you're looking at where your medium term take profit zone 1 is and take profit zone 2 price is, and this will only play out as long as there's more bull run left, and I think that there is, but it's just my guess. This isn't financial advice. But that means the next major wave is going to likely bring it to around the 560 to 650 range. Okay. So the next 3 months, fair to say we're going to have lots of great news coming. Yeah, smart contracts, all these projects making announcements that they're either building on Cardano or going to bridge to Cardano, et cetera, et cetera. So let's say it hits that 650 price. Now let's look at the take profit zone 1, take profit zone 2, and where does that take profit zone 3 hit? Just above $30. Funny, isn't that? Now I know when it's hard right here, it's hard to see where not the next swing, but the one after that might go. Just like when I was sharing with it before and Cardano's price was at like 18 cents, people couldn't picture a $2 or $3 Cardano, but now it's easy. So I don't know, stick around, see if we hit it, because I think we will. Now, if we do, realize it often looks just like this. Does it stick around at that price? It does not. So if you don't have your sell orders already in fact, sometimes it hits just below the price, just like this hit just below 250, then you're likely not to get your orders hit. So is a $1 trillion market cap making more sense to you? Now, who knows? Will it hit that? I'm bullish on Cardano. I'm extremely bullish on the Cardano ecosystem too. So let's talk about that. For those that only watch ADA, well, you might be done with this part of the video. That's cool, because I'm going to talk about the ADA ecosystem as well. I've shared with you my thoughts on why the market cap of Cardano could get to $1 trillion, but don't mistake that with financial advice or me saying that it will. It unequivocally shouldn't hit $1 trillion market cap, but that's very different from it won't. Ripple hit $150 billion market cap last cycle, and it should never have done that, and yet it still did. So we're not talking about what it should hit. We're talking about what it might actually do, even though it shouldn't. So for those interested in the ADA ecosystem, go ahead and stick around, because I want to talk about watching closely the projects that come out through any of the launch pads related to Cardano. Now, not all of them are coming out through these launch pads directly, but some of the hottest ones are. And the two launch pads that are really the biggest in the Cardano ecosystem are CardStarter and OCamFi. They'll realize that a solid Cardano project could actually come through any of the launch pads, or not even from a launch pad. Now, you have probably noticed the number of projects that have launched on CardStarter that have done like 200 or 300x, or even at least 100x, are pretty high, right? Here's the deal though. If you're interested in the Cardano ecosystem, you do not want to be buying something that's already 300x. It just almost never goes well for you. You're looking for good entry prices. But before you can know if something is a good entry price, is it fair to say you have to know what the project is and what problems they're trying to solve? So as the Cardano ecosystem evolves, I will try to cover many of the projects that I think will be hot in that ecosystem. Now, past number of months, I've grown some of the venture capitalists I know, and they share information on up and coming projects with me and their thoughts on them and what they think's hot and what they don't. Now, when I hear from multiple ones that they see an up and coming project that will be hot, that's usually a good clue to me. And so I do review everything that they think will be hot and take a look at it and get as much information as I can on it. And sometimes I can get a lot of information, sometimes I can't get all that much. So I want to talk to you today about one that's coming up, and that is Spores. Now, this isn't a sponsored video. They haven't paid me to talk about him. I'm talking about him because I want to. VCs sometimes pass on a lot of the projects, so when multiple ones that I'm talking to all like the project, that's usually a good sign that it's worthy of, me not only looking at, but probably even covering. So I want to cover this one with you. Now, one of the VCs that I worked with, he sent me this summary, so I'm going to just read it to you because actually it was worded so well. So stick with me, it's a mouthful. Spores Network, founders, blah, blah, blah. Let me pull this up too so you have an idea what we're looking at here. This is Spores, and it's spores.app is the website. So Spores Network founders deeply believe that a digital metaverse is being built today and will revolutionize our thoughts and behavior and I'm having a hard time reading today. That it will revolutionize our thoughts and behavior with respect to living, owning, and sharing our physical and digital lives. Spores seeks to empower creators to create, exchange, and communicate their life's work. To do so, Spores envisions an NFT platform that is both feature-rich and cross-chain interoperable. Now, specifically, they're planning on building on Cardano and Polkadot first, obviously also Ethereum, and then other chains from there. allowing users to issue NFTs, auction and exchange the assets, and utilize other DeFi products without any barrier. Spores leverages the blockchain and uses smart contract technology to authenticate NFTs, track their ownership records, and buy/sell history. Securely decentralize their trading procedure while fully complying with intellectual property and copyright licenses so that they can protect the NFT creators and owners' benefits. Spores is equipped with the full range of features to facilitate and benefit with all participants: artwork, content creators, game developers, entertainment producers, clubs, collectors, celebrities, and fans, etc., to promote a creator-centric, frictionless, borderless, and community-driven ecosystem. Now, I realize that was a huge mouthful. The reason I want to share it with you because it was written so well. It is hard to summarize these projects in a really good way. And as I was doing research on this, I was like, man, okay, this is really starting to make sense to me. How do I best explain it? Well, I got that paragraph. I was like, well, that's fantastic. Let me see if I can read that. All right, so basic features include NFT minting portfolio for token creators, account management tools for token holders, an auction engine. That's interesting. Cross-chain exchange, that's cool. NFT staking and liquidity pools for NFTs. Marketplace and NFT ranking tools, interesting. Interoperability and DeFi gamification. I do love gamification if it's done well. AI assistant for checking and tracking NFTs, APIs, SDKs for developers, etc. All right. So if you want more information on Spores, come here. It is not out yet. You can't buy the token. And when it does come out, you're looking for a good entry price. Now, if you can get into the different launch pads, it's not a bad idea. I know they're expensive to buy their tokens to participate. I get that. I participated in a lot of launch pads. Why? Because they're the best chance to get pre-sale or IDO pricing. And as much as I hate jumping through all the hoops that they require, I like the price, right? Because you often can't get any better than the IDO price. And if you can't get in the IDO, then you're often waiting for a good retracement. Because what happens when projects launch? They usually skyrocket. Why? Because there's a lot more demand than there is supply. But then, as some of the pre-sale investors get their tokens unlocked, they sell them. And for a while, then sometimes supply exceeds demand and the price comes back to something attractive. Now, some of the ones I followed in the past that I'm really big on, that's happening right now. So if you check out Legend of Crypto Games token, that is particularly on sale today. Split token. Now, perhaps there was a token release, and perhaps that explains why the extra drop. I don't know. So I have seen the Legends of Crypto Game token release schedule, but I don't remember what it said. It was 3 months ago that I read it. I have not seen the split token release schedule, but all of a sudden they took a big dip. That's when I buy, is when things are on sale and the projects I believe in. If you haven't heard of split, just think of a decentralized Shopify. Will it hit it for the long term? I don't know, but it's a narrative that I very much like for this bull run. And so sharing that with you, I do like Spores. Now, whether it's a good investment has everything to do with the price that you're getting. Just know that, and that never changes. So if you're looking to make great money, in fact, life-changing money, know that if you're just starting in crypto here, number one, there's going to be some problems with you achieving life-changing wealth. Number one is fear of missing out drives you to overpay for things. Number two, panic selling drives you out of everything altogether. Now, I know it's been tempting if you're new to panic sell while things are down. These are usually the times that I'm buying more. And it does take diamond hands to be buying more during this time, but it's worked out really well for me. And some people call it like catching a falling knife. Well, if these hands showed the scars from catching falling knives, they would be all scarred up because I do it when things that I'm interested in retrace heavily. Guess what sometimes happens? Retraces even more, and I buy at the next retracement zone. And then I buy some more, and I average cost in when it's going bad for a project that I like long term. Does that make sense? This is my buying strategy. It's been extremely successful for me. Hopefully it'll work with you. It can if you avoid FOMO and don't FOMO into things, as well as you have a lot of patience. as well as you don't panic sell out. Does that make sense? So do note, just an investor myself. I've just been doing this for 4 years. I got in halfway through, or the later half of 2017, just in time to learn a few lessons and get burned tremendously and walk away. Not walk away. I didn't walk away. That's part of the reason it went so well for me. I invested about $15,000 to watch it turn into $150,000, to watch it turn into about $2,000, $3,000, somewhere in there. I don't remember what it was at the low. But during the down market, I just kept putting in extra penny I could. And guess what? If you commit yourself to the 5-year plan of staying here, not just this cycle, and I think we have at least half left, and I think if you're here now, especially right now when everything's on sale, I think you're here at a really good time. But then if you'll also stick with us during the bear market, and then for the following bull run, my guess is you have the best chance you can ever give yourself for life-changing wealth. And that the timing's now. There's no better time. So thanks for joining us. Love it if you subscribe to the channel. If this isn't for you, that's totally cool too. I do only want positive people in the community. I don't want those that panic and freak out about everything. Work on your anxiety, then come join us, because we don't need that. I don't need that in the Telegram channel. We have a very positive community, and I appreciate how great they are. Also, I'm a weird guy. I'm analytical. I like good deals. I think investment and economics all the freaking time. Maybe that's not the type of YouTube channel you're looking for, and if that's not, that's cool too. You don't need to subscribe. I do appreciate everyone who does watch, and this is the kind of content you're looking for, and helping grow this community for the type of audience that we're looking for. That we're looking for the rainmakers, those that will commit to the 5-year plan to change their finances forever. Now, unfortunately and fortunately, I can't give financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing. It's worked really well for me, but I'm patient. I'm patient when things are going bad. In fact, often I buy more. I don't panic sell, and I don't chase green candles, and those rules have worked great for me. My guess is they'll work great for you too. I'm going to hand it over to Manuela, who's got a song for all you rainmakers committing to the 5-year plan. We'll see you soon.
Success is falling, flowing like rain. The timing's right, we're getting paid. Come on, rainmakers, let's make this happen.